Fix YouTube channel. My name is FPL Nacho, and this is the Game Week 25 live stream. This is the one that we have been waiting for. Such a unique game week where we have got teams that are blanking and also teams that are doubling. So just a quick reminder, if you don't know, the teams that are blanking are going to be Newcastle, Man United, Brighton and Brentford. And the teams that are doubling are going to be Everton, Wolves, Arsenal and Liverpool. So if you didn't know that already, we have just under an hour for you to sort your teams out. So just a quick reminder, guys, if you are new around here on this live stream, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you enjoy the live stream, please do drop a like. It just shows the love for the channel. So I can see some usual faces already in the chat. Cheekster, as always, moderating the chat, which is massively, massively appreciated. So we just have an hour until the deadline. So we're going to be covering off my team reveal. Spoiler alert, I've taken a lot of hits. And I'm a little bit stressed, as you can probably tell right now. So I've definitely got some hits for my team. We're going to be discussing Salah versus Saka captaincy, as I honestly don't know what I am doing right now. So it's going to be really interesting for you guys to maybe back and forth, a bit of communication in the chat to see what your thoughts are on captaincy for Game Week 25. And then, of course, we're going to be deep diving into the projected points of other players. Right, let's see who's in the chat right now. Jonas is saying, Ian Nacho, Morpay or Nonto? I'm not too big on any of them, to be honest with you. Morpay, definitely not. If I had to go for one, I do like Nonto because of his cheap price. But Ian Nacho, the underlying stats are fantastic for him. Probably Ian Nacho, but I don't think any of those are priorities for your team this week. And Raccoon's saying, should I bring Darwin in for Tony? And I really do empathise with people who have this situation, because Darwin Núñez this week, I think, probably plays 120 minutes. I'll be very surprised if he starts both games. And I can easily foresee a situation potentially where he plays 60 minutes and a 45. He could play 80 and a 30. Very difficult to pinpoint his minutes. But with Tony, we know that he is blanking in Game Week 25, but then has a great fixture in 26, doubles in 27, probable blank in Game Week 28, but then doubles in 29. Look, I think Tony to Darwin is fine. But the one thing I would say to you is you might be then going back to Tony in Game Week 26. So maybe view it as a 1 week punt for you in your team. Tom, I can see you in chat as well. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Ashley saying, I have triple captainship available. Tempted to lump it on Darwin. Is it a bit risky or stick with Salah? I think this was very easy for you here. I would put it on Mo Salah as the triple captaincy. I would not be taking the risk on Darwin Núñez's minutes. In particular, with some rumours flying about that potentially went off of a slight knock against Real Madrid. So for that very reason, I do think that, that Salah is an easy triple captaincy for your team there. And again, guys, if you are on the live stream, please do consider hitting that like button. We always try and hit 50 likes on these live streams. If you can get us there, it would be much appreciated, as always. We got another one here saying, worth a -8 for Bruno to Saka. A reminder that Bruno blanks and Saka has a double. And Nketiah to Núñez. Now, you're selling Bruno to Saka and then getting rid of Nketiah to Núñez. Personally, I imagine what's happening here is you need to sell Nketiah in order to get to Saka for you here. And it's a really difficult one because I think Saka is by far and away the best Arsenal asset. So I like the move. I don't like the thought of you selling Nketiah. That's the only thing. If you're selling Nketiah to enable Saka, then I can understand it. I could get behind that. If you're selling Nketiah just because you want to get Núñez in and you can still have Saka, I would simply just do Bruno to Saka and be done with it for your team. JP, pros and cons of captaining Odegaard over Salah. I think Arsenal score more than Liverpool, no Saka. JP, I think that's a definite worthwhile consideration if you don't have Mohamed Salah. If you don't have Saka. Odegaard, a bonus point machine. We saw it in Game Week 24. He only got an assist. Saka got a goal. Yet Odegaard walked away with those 3 bonus points. And that's because of the creativity, the key passes that he does deliver in Arsenal games. His bonus point baseline is massive in comparison to the other assets. So Odegaard is definitely being slept on as a captaincy. I think the big reason why people want Salah is because of the penalties. That's the huge thing that we saw and why Saka has been outscoring Odegaard over the last few game weeks. We have to remember a penalty in there, which is something that Odegaard can't contend with. So, guys, keep getting those questions in the comment section. I'll be answering them throughout this live stream, but we need to come on to the first slide, which is going to be my team reveal. And as I mentioned, I'm starting to question whether I've lost my mind or not with the decisions that I've made. So let's get into this team reveal right now. Okay, guys, so I have pulled the trigger on a -12 for my team. Now, anybody that knows me as a manager knows I'm quite conservative. I like to play it safe with my moves, never really go too big or bold, and I've stumbled across this -12. So you can see the team on screen here. Azpilicueta, Kepa in goal, Ben White with the double, Tarkowski with the double, and Trent Alexander-Arnold with the double. Saka, double, Salah, double, Andreas Pereira with the single game week, and McNeil, don't ask me why McNeil is in this team, with a double game week, and a front three of Nketiah, Darwin Núñez, and Haaland. No bench, because Patterson is unlikely to get any minutes, and I also have Rashford and Trippier. Now, let's explain the players that I sold first and foremost. Defenders, I ended up selling Luke Shaw and Matt Doherty. Thank God I got rid of Matt Doherty finally. So I don't mind those moves. I'm getting rid of players that are blanking, and Man United have Liverpool the following game week, and Matt Doherty isn't even in the bloody country. So those moves are absolutely fine for me. Midfielders, I ended up selling Bruno Fernandes, same point, doesn't have a game this week. So it was a very easy move for me to make, to go to someone like McNeil, who has a double game week, but also a guaranteed fixture in game week 28. Now, if you are sat there right now thinking, do I go for Iwobi, do I go for McNeil? I honestly think it's a coin flip between the two. And I have to say, you're very much considering a crap FPL asset versus a crap FPL asset. It's just which one isn't crapper. And I've put that on McNeil. And the main reason being is because on corners, I'm dreaming of a situation here where McNeil swings in that wonder of a left foot onto slabhead number 2, Tarkowski, and we get the glorious goal scored plus assist. That would be the dream. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But McNeil, I think, just offers that slight creativity in the team from set piece potential. And doing the Bruno to McNeil move enabled me to make these upgrades in the team. One of those being KDB to Mo Salah. I think Mo Salah is the right move this week. I don't think Gakpo can cover Salah for both points and minutes. And I think Salah offers you a brilliant captaincy choice as well, which I will come back into on this live stream. Front three, as I mentioned, Nketiah, Darwin and Haaland. The new face in there is Darwin. I have finally sold Mitrovic. Cue his hat-trick tonight. But even so, I wasn't willing to take the risk of Mitrovic trolling me again this game week. And potentially Darwin's going to troll me as well. But that's something that I'm going to have to accept. I've made my bed. I have to sleep in it here. So this is how the team looks from -12. Quickly going to cover off why I didn't free hit. Basically, when I built a free hit draft, and we're going to come into the algorithm free hit draft in a minute, so that'll really help you guys that are planning your free hits. I ended up having triple Liverpool, triple Arsenal, and then I was just choosing from Wolves and Everton assets. And realistically, I just didn't want to get myself in a situation where I was playing my free hit in a week where I know a lot of managers were basically just building the exact same team, but for points hits. Now, of course, if you free hit this week, you are going to get a green arrow because so many managers are taking points hits for players that are inevitably in free hit teams. But I don't think the gap in which that you can climb is going to be as significant as if you play it in free hit in game week 28 or in 29. Game week 28 is likely to be a massive blank game week, and game week 29 is going to be a very big double game week. I think the gain is going to be in those weeks rather than these weeks personally. So that's the reason why I've gone for the -12, guys, and why I didn't go for the free hit. Yes, I may have lost my marbles. Yes, this could go drastically wrong, but fingers crossed we could break even with the points hits and maybe have a few returns from the differentials like Nketiah, where he hasn't necessarily been the one delivering week in, week out. So next up, guys, let's get into some of the questions that you have in the chat. And of course, if you want to go in on my team, then you can do that freely. Right, let's see what's in the chat, guys. What else we got here? Go to Football saying, worth a -8 for Mahrez to Grealish and Mitro to Watkins. I'm not huge on the Mahrez to Grealish move. I think Mahrez can easily outscore Grealish this week, so not too big on that one. I like the Mitrovic to Watkins move in your team, though. Long-term planning, Watkins is a fantastic move for your teams. Shane saying, hello, mate. How come you didn't go for McAllister in the end? Main reason being is because I can easily get to McAllister in game week 26 if I want to go down that route. I could have McAllister as a placeholder for this week, but realistically, my team looks quite good for game week 26. So what I could do is just use my one free transfer, do a sideways move of potentially McNeil to McAllister, and have that as my Brighton pick. It basically was a case of having McAllister early or McNeil for 2 weeks and then getting McAllister. And I prefer to do that route there. -8 Darwin and Robertson instead of Kane and Nico Williams. If you can do that move, I like it. I would just say I think Kane's minutes might be very similar to Darwin Núñez's minutes this game week. What's my current chip strategy? JP, I'm being very fluid right now with chip strategy. I'm going to wait until after game week 25, and then we're going to decide what to do. I'm even open to things like a wildcard in game week 26, as that potentially might set me up for the longer term. I'm happy to do a free hit in 28 and wildcard in 33 for the preparation of 34 bench boost. All of this is available to me, and I'm more than happy to just be flexible with those FA Cup results that happen later on. Now, before we go into the next slide, guys, I just want to mention I'm not panicking, but there could be a last minute panic on captaincy between both Saka and Salah. So I will decide later on. The reason why I've gone for Saka, and we will come on to a captaincy poll decision in a minute. Right now, my personal opinion why I've gone for Saka is just because Arsenal right now are absolutely on fire. And I do expect goals in both fixtures against Leicester and Everton. And I want a little bit of piece of that pie in terms of Saka. Now, could I be tempted to Mo Salah? Absolutely. I think it's incredibly close between the two. And the reason why I might be tempted to go for Salah is mainly because the underlying numbers are better than Saka's, which is a surprise to some. But also, I think Salah's minutes are going to be solid over this double. I think the others are the ones that are going to be at risk. But really, guys, it is a coin flip between the two. I think both are fantastic options in your teams. But I will update you if I make any amendments to my captaincy this game week. Right. Let's get into some more questions, guys. But first up, let's move into the Saka versus Salah debate. I'll leave it on the screen while we go into more questions, and then we will deep dive into what you guys think is the Saka or Salah captaincy. What I'm also going to do, guys, is I'm going to start a quick poll in the chat. Let me know who you would go for. So we're just going to drop this in the chat. Please do answer. It would be much appreciated, just to get a bit of an idea on the general consensus of where you guys are going to with your captaincy. So game week 25 captain. Let me just drop this in here, guys, for you. Now, I'm just going to keep it Saka, Salah, that's the accent coming out there. And we're going to put other as well, because end of the day, I don't want to put all the options out there, but we're just going to leave other. So we're going to leave that in the poll for you guys to just have a little mooch about and see if there is any thoughts there. Right, you'll see that in the chat, guys. Let me know who you are going for out of Saka and Salah, or maybe the other. Right, let's get into some more questions, guys, and then we will deep dive into a captaincy pick between Saka and Salah. Right. Eddie Nketiah, Núñez, Odegaard, Robert, or Haaland captaincy. The way I would rank that kind of list there would be Odegaard number 1, bonus point magnet. I think he's a good option. I would then have actually Nketiah number 2. I think his underlying numbers are amazing. He's very unlucky not to be hauling in the last few game weeks. After that, I probably would go for Haaland number 3 against Bournemouth. I would have Núñez number 4, and then I would have Robertson number 5. Mahrez and Mitrovic for Grealish. I covered that one off. Hopefully I helped you there. De Bruyne to Salah for a -4 point hit. Yes, I do like that move, even if Kevin De Bruyne does play against Bournemouth. And Lewis is saying a free transfer used on Botman to Tarkowski. No Liverpool assets, so worth a -8 for sure to Trent and Bruno to Gakpo. Haven't got the funds for Salah. Yes, I do like those moves for your team. But what I would say to you is I do think Gakpo's minutes are going to be a risk over this double game week. So just be cautious of that when you are making that decision there. Okay, guys, let's have a quick captaincy discussion because I'm conscious we have 45 minutes until the deadline. And please do, if you haven't already, drop a vote on the poll that I did put in the chat. Right now, I only put it up a minute ago. We've got 36 votes. Saka is leading the way on 47%, Mo Salah on 36%, and 17% on other. And I imagine the other is going to consist of Odegaard, maybe an Nketiah move, or maybe even some people going rogue on a Darwin pick. That is definitely an option if you want to go down that route. Absolutely. Okay, let us go into some captaincy discussion. I'm just making sure this is all set up here for a minute. Give me 2 seconds. Apologies, guys. Okay, so captaincy. Salah versus Saka. As I said, it is incredibly close between the two. Predicted points you can see on screen there. 11.3 for Salah, 11.2 for Saka. So if it pans out how our algorithm has it predicted, you aren't going to be really missing here. both players are brilliant options. We're not in a situation here where I think on hindsight we can look back and say, why did I go for Saka or why did I go for Salah? I think we just accept here that both are fantastic options. And I'm going to say it because all the stats guys say it, but variance. It just happens sometimes. Sometimes Salah will bang a hat-trick against Wolves because Wolves go down to 10 men and Saka misses his chances. It could just be one of those weeks. So first and foremost, these decisions always hurt FPL managers from like a mental perspective. So I really just want to make sure that you are aware that if you get the wrong decision between Saka or Salah, you don't beat yourself up over it because honestly, the decision is so close between the two. So live ownership wise, Salah's live ownership, I think is going to be increasing and increasing every single minute that passes. So it will be a lot more than the live ownership that you can see on your screens right now. And I think the same applies to Saka as well. I think people are buying Saka if they didn't have him already. Now, in regards to the fixtures, you can see there, expected goals conceded for the opponents per 90 minutes. Arsenal are playing two teams that have worse defences than what Liverpool are playing. Leicester have an expected goals conceded per 90 of 1.53 and Everton have 1.59. When we compare that to Liverpool's fixtures, Palace 1.44 per 90 expected goals conceded and Wolves 1.27. So based on the teams that they're playing, Arsenal have the better fixtures from a goal scoring perspective, and why I've currently got the captaincy on Saka is for that very reason. Just from a mind's eye perspective, I really can see a situation where Arsenal versus Leicester is 5-2, 4-2, something crazy. I really could see that happening. Whereas away against Selhurst Park, now I know everybody in the chat's going to be saying to me, yes, but Nacho, Liverpool beat Palace 7-0 that one time, and yes, it did happen, but I can't foresee a situation like that, and Wolves are a different beast under this new manager, it is worth noting. Are they going to be watertight? Absolutely not. But I just can see that Leicester game being goals. And I think that fixture enough is a reason why we should be considering Saka as an option. Now, in terms of the team expected goals, you can't pull them apart. 1.9 expected goals for Liverpool as a team per 90. Arsenal at 1.88. So little between them. But in terms of the expected FPL points per 90, it's where Salah leads the way. He's leading for expected goals per 90 and he's leading for expected assists per 90 versus Bukayo Saka. And although Saka's getting all the plaudits for being the value pick and scoring so many points, Salah's underlying stats since the World Cup are better than Bukayo Saka. So we need to remember that when we are deliberating the captaincy choice here. So look, I think fixtures are in Saka's favour. I think underlying stats are in Salah's favour. They're both on penalties. Flip a coin, and honestly, you probably come to a decision that is going to be as close as what you're doing right now. I currently have it on Saka, and with 40 minutes to go, I would not be shocked if I move it to Mo Salah last minute. It honestly is one of those situations. So let me know in the poll that I've put out, guys. When we get to 100 votes, I'll end the poll, and we'll get a good idea on what people are doing in terms of captaincy. Let me know in the chat. If I had to do it right now, honestly, I can't tell you which one to go for mainly because I haven't decided myself right now. But hopefully you guys can help each other in the chat there. I do apologise I can't come to an absolute definitive conclusion on that one there. Would I recommend Shimikas? Absolutely not, because Robertson is likely going to play more minutes than Shimikas. Grealish or Mahrez? I still think Mahrez is the route to go for. I do think he is the value pick, the highest ceiling pick. Can we talk about Gakpo minutes? Absolutely we can. And what we're going to come on to here in a minute is Liverpool's minutes played in Europe. So let's bring up this here, and big shout out to Finn for putting this out because he's done a fantastic job on this one here. So on the screen what you can see here is Liverpool's minutes in Europe. And what we're talking about here is, of course, their fixture against Real Madrid. Now, Gakpo has actually seen some decent minutes in the Premier League so far, but we have to remember the likes of Jota and Firmino weren't available to Liverpool. And we have seen slightly earlier substitutions for Gakpo since the return to both Bobby Firmino and Jota. So, minutes played in Europe against Real Madrid. And we have to remember this fixture was on Tuesday night. Salah, Trent, Robertson all played the full match, which ended up panning out to be 96 minutes, so 90-minute game. Darwin and Gakpo both played just over an hour, and they got replaced by both Bobby Firmino and Jota. So, in terms of Gakpo's minutes, he has had very, very similar minutes to what Darwin Núñez has. There's been a bit of a trend where we might see that rotation happen, where if Darwin and Gakpo start both games, I would not be shocked to see in both games Gakpo and Darwin come off at 60 minutes to integrate Firmino and Jota into the team to give them minutes in the legs. And it wouldn't even surprise me if we saw a situation where we had Darwin start one game with Jota down the middle, and then the next game Gakpo start with Firmino, for example. I do not at all rule that out. Now, looking at the fixtures for these players, I think what we're going to say is this. The general consensus is Salah's minutes are pretty good. Yes, there could be rotation from time to time for Mo Salah, but I realistically think that he is the one to go for if you're going for expected minutes. And then in terms of the defenders, I think Trent, with the lack of competition at right back, is going to be the obvious route into that Liverpool defence. Yes, you could go Robertson if you can't afford Trent. I think he's the next best, but Trent for me is absolutely the one to go for. And the underlying numbers since the World Cup are definitely in Alexander-Arnold's favour. Firmino, Jota aren't options right now at all, unfortunately, as they could be good differentials, but for me, aren't a consideration in our team. So, for those asking about Gakpo, I don't think he can match Salah for points, and I don't think he can match him for expected minutes. Is that to say that Gakpo couldn't pop up with a brace? He absolutely could. But for me, if I was considering a Liverpool asset, it would have to be Salah number one. It would be Trent, and then it's a case of what budget you have left available to you. I think Darwin and Gakpo have very similar minutes over this double game week. Right, let's come into some more questions, guys, as I know it is a deadline stream, and we want to be answering your questions. I can't be sat here yapping along all the time. I got to be answering some of your questions here. And again, guys, it is worth noting, we still haven't decided on my captaincy. Even though the team's locked in, I really do think the captaincy is still up for debate in my team, and I would not be surprised if I do dip to Mo Salah last minute, but of course I will update you guys if I do that. Right. JP, Chelsea Spurs prediction. I'm a Chelsea fan, 5-0 Chelsea. No, I think it's going to be a 0-0, a boring 0-0, and Friday night football, we know what the result's going to be. Fulham 0, Wolves 0. It's just inevitable, isn't it, really? Mr. Alex Egg, what a great name. Spend them 4 points to get rid of Pope with Ward as a backup. If you're selling Pope, I'll probably go Pickford if you are planning on selling Pope. McNeil or Neves, I've gone for McNeil if that's any help to you there. -8 Darwin and Robertson instead of Kane and Nico Williams. I don't mind it. I don't mind the move. Ashley, thanks for the advice. Triple captain, the Egyptian king. Love the move. Love the move. Worth transferring De Bruyne for Salah for a -4. Yes, I do like that move. But you already have 11 starters, so I don't think it's essential. But I think Salah does pay you back the -4. Nketiah or Darwin, Nketiah all day. I think his minutes are way more guaranteed than Darwin's. And his underlying numbers are fantastic. Kane to Nketiah and Mitro to Darwin and KDB to Salah for a -4. If you can do that for a -4, then I do like those moves. Yes, I think they are strong moves. Max, I've just taken a hit to bring in Emerson Royale for sure. Do you think it's a good idea? I hate sitting here and telling people after they've made their transfer whether it's good or bad, because you can't reverse it. So I don't want to be sitting here and saying that is a bad transfer. But it's not the transfer I would do. That's the way I'm going to answer it there, personally. Daniel, is it worth taking a -4 to get a Fulham or Wolves player in? As I've one blank in my team, I prefer Everton over Fulham personally. But Fulham, 4 goals conceded since the World Cup. If you really fancy that single game week against Wolves, then I think Ream's the one to go for in that team. I've covered that one off. Sorry guys, we'll just make sure I don't duplicate any questions in the chat. So let's get back to them. Spend the 4 points to get... I've covered that one. Apologies. Worth taking a -4. Done that one. Sorry, guys. I'll just make sure I haven't reeled off any. Do you think... This is asked by Victor here. Do you think Botman, Shaw, KDB and Kane to Trent, Salah, Nunez and Tarkowski is a good move for -8? I do. I do think it's a good move, but you need to remember that Nunez is a minutes risk this game week. If you're happy to take that risk, then I like the move. I'm all for it. Guys, we're going to wrap up the poll there because we're just going over 10 minutes. It's good to see the numbers. Currently, Saka at 49%, Salah at 41%, and other at 10%. So that is how the poll ended up, guys. Take that information what you will if you do feel like it is influencing you in any way. So yes, let me have a quick look here, guys. Apologies. To make sure there's no team news in regards to... Mitrovic. So I know that's quite a big topic for a lot of people out there. But I cannot see anything out there, so I'm going to leave it for now. Right, some more questions. What do I think about Odegaard captain? I've discussed this. I think he's a great alternative captain because his bonus point potential is so good because he creates so many chances. Already took a -4 to do De Bruyne, Almiron, Mitro to Salah, Watkins, Bailey. Is it worth a -8 to take out Bueno, Shaw or Trippier? I think you're probably fine there with the points that you've taken. I'd probably just start Bueno and hope for the best that he starts tonight. Burn to Kilman for a hit. I'd prefer you to go Burn to Tarkowski personally. Adam, I already have 3 Arsenal players, so can't get to Nketiah and only have 8.2 million. Any ideas who I can get? I think Watkins is a really good alternative for you. He's a good move long term if you want to have a forward that does play every week, has a double in 29 and has a good fixture in game week 28. I think a lot of people will be going to Watkins in the short term once we get through this weird week of game week 25. And again, guys, we have just over half an hour until the deadline. So again, we have plenty of time to answer any of your questions. So make sure you do keep getting them in. I will be here for the next 30 minutes answering any of those questions for you. And you could probably see me panic at the end where I decide whether to go for Mo Salah or Bukayo Saka as my captaincy. I really do think it is going to be incredibly close between the two. Adam, already have I've covered that one off. I'm going for Captain McNeil. Why not? This is what I love about FPL. I would love to be free will where I can just do that and not have any consequences. I love you for doing that. You need to let me know how it goes on. Best Shaw replacement long term. Look, Tarkowski is a good option. The reason why Tarkowski is good is because he doubles this week, has games all the way through, and has a guaranteed fixture in game week 28 if you don't plan on free hitting in game week 28. Now, if you are looking for another option and you don't think Tarkowski is a good pick, then it's all about what other kind of strategy you're going for. If you don't have Arsenal defender, Arsenal's a great pick for your teams. You could go up to a Liverpool asset if you think that this week is a good time to double down on their double game week. It's all specific to your team, but I think Tarkowski is a nice budget route if you want to go down that direction. Castagna and Shaw to Kilman and Tarkowski for a -8. Castagna plays this week. I know he's got a tricky fixture, but I'm less inclined for that move because Castagna actually physically plays. I really like points hits if you're selling a player that blanks, not necessarily for a player that has a guaranteed fixture. That's where I start to feel a little bit about it, that's all. Alex Villan saying, everyone, Buendia usually scores against Everton. Shall I swap him in my team? Midfielder is Mahrez, Odegaard, Salah. I wouldn't be bringing in Buendia. I think his minutes are very, very difficult to predict, and he only has a single game week. I just wouldn't go down that route personally. Right, what I'm going to do, guys, as I'm conscious we only have half an hour, as some of you on your free hits, I'm going to put up the algorithm free hit team, which should help you guys out. There's a few picks in there which are, I'm going to say, a little bit controversial, but we never doubt the Fantasy Football Fix algorithm team. So let's get that up for you guys right now. So I'm going to have a quick sip on the coffee while we digest what we're seeing on our screens here. Okay, so let me read out this team here, which is based on the algorithm 11, which is effectively a free hit team, which is super relevant for game week 25. So we have Jose Sarr in goal. Controversial maybe to some that Pickford didn't make the team, but hey, Sarr is in. Back three, Robertson, Trent, and Connor Cody. Interestingly here, with the double up of the Liverpool defence, I think that'd be a real differential for those that are potentially planning that sort of move. So for that reason being, that is a great differential pick if you want to go for it. I personally wouldn't, just because I don't back the Liverpool defence. I haven't seen enough of them to think they will keep 2 clean sheets. And I would want to see, with Trent and Robertson, it's kind of the bread and butter is the clean sheet and the attacking points are the bonus. And realistically, we haven't got that bread and butter right now. So that's why I wouldn't go for the double up personally. But the algorithm is all for it. And Connor Cody makes it ahead of Tarkowski. I imagine that's just because of maybe a higher attacking potential with their underlying stats. Now, midfield 5, and we get more love for Dwight McNeil. My man, he is in the house once again. McNeil makes it to the team. I'm delighted to see that as someone who has bought McNeil for his own personal team. Neves as well. I think a lot of talk about Sarabia, which I think could be a nice creative option. But I would say the Sarabia's minutes are definitely going to be at risk with the likes of Podence and Neto coming back to the squad. I think Neves plays every minute of that double. For that reason, I probably would just favour Neves if you are going for a Wolves midfielder. Then we have the double up of Odegaard and Saka. No real explanation needed there. Both fantastic options, and Saka only 0.1 projected points behind Mo Salah. And Mo Salah makes up the fifth midfielder, taking the captaincy, as we said, leading the way for projected points this week. And I think he's a brilliant transfer, in particular if you currently own Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's a great sideways move for your teams. And up front, controversially, no Darwin Núñez. We have Nketiah and Erling Haaland. Again, nobody's really selling Erling Haaland. There's no need to, really. And Nketiah, with his underlying numbers, incredibly unlucky not to have any returns over the last few game weeks for the numbers that he's been posting. Now, the reason why Darwin Núñez hasn't made these projected points, the algorithm 11, I just think his minutes. The minutes are the big thing here. When you look at the team on your screen, we know that all of these players are likely to play every minute of this double game week. With Darwin Núñez, I think there's a real risk about that. And because of that very reason, he doesn't rank as highly as both Haaland and Nketiah for projected points. Now on the bench is Pickford. Again, I really think it's a coin flip between Pickford and Jose Sa for this week. Kilman, Perisic, quite surprisingly, and Nonto of Leeds. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. How many of these players do you have if you're planning on free hitting this week? Again, the algorithm 11 historically delivers, it is worth noting. Right, let's check out some more of the comments, guys, as I'm conscious we're in to the last 27 minutes before the deadline. So Daniel saying Trent captain. I don't mind it as a differential pick, but what I would say to you is this. Can we see a Liverpool clean sheet after the recent performances? I don't think it's guaranteed, and I would want my defender to at least have that clean sheet potential. It could happen. We could absolutely see a monster haul from Trent, but for me, I just don't think I want to put the captaincy. I would have him maybe 4th or 5th. I would have Salah ahead of him. I would have the likes of Saka ahead of him as well. And guys, while we are looking at the chat, I'm just going to make sure there are no leaks or anything worth noting that is coming out in terms of any Mitrovic news. Just quickly checking out. I can't see any Mitrovic news, guys. So right now we are all in on what we are kind of doing in regards to that. I can't see any Mitrovic news. I do apologise. I'm just double checking everything, but I cannot see it anywhere. No, I can't see anything right now. Okay. Right, let's get back to the questions, guys. Trent for captain. Covered that one off. Bailey, hi mate for TikTok. Thoughts on Shaw, KDB, Odegaard and Kane out for Trent, Salah, Saka and Darwin for a -8. I do not like it. And the main reason being you're selling Odegaard part of this combination. Yes, you are bringing Saka, but it feels wrong selling Odegaard this week for a -8 because I absolutely think Odegaard could outscore Saka. My question to you would be, could you just do, for example, KDB to Salah and Luke Shaw to Robertson? Could you do that move? I think that is absolutely an option for you. I don't think you need to necessarily sell Odegaard this week. I would be very against that move. Trent, Alisson and Odegaard or Darwin for captain. The way I'd rank those is Odegaard number 1, Trent 2, because I don't know about Darwin's minutes. Darwin 3, Alisson 4. Is 10 starting players fine? Absolutely, Harry, but it depends who your starters are. If you've got a Greenwood in there potentially, if you have got I'm trying to think of another risky player, Bueno, that might not be the best 10. If you've got 10 guaranteed starters in their respective teams, then I don't mind it at all. No, Paul, I don't have any leaked news right now. I say right now as if I get any in the nose. I don't see anything on Twitter right now. It is worth noting. Is Shaw okay to remove for Tarkowski? Yes, I absolutely like Tarkowski. Take out Tony for Nketiah for a -8. It depends who's the other combination that you're selling, but Tony to Nketiah I do like this week, yes. It will be for Mahrez. No, I would not be selling Mahrez this week. I think Mahrez with a single game week could absolutely destroy Iwobi for returns. It's a crazy world we live in where I'm debating whether Iwobi or Mahrez is in our teams. I've got wildcard and free hits still. When should I use them? For me, you just need to be flexible. Game week 26 will have a much more clearer perspective on what the fixtures are looking like going forward. Be flexible with your chips. Don't have a concrete plan in place, and then we can understand the fixture landscape after these FA Cup games. Tarkowski or Coleman, I would say go for Tarkowski. I think he's a much more threat from set pieces. Coleman doesn't score that goal ever again, it's worth noting. There's no chance he scores that goal again. Can Gakpo cover Darwin? Absolutely could. I think his minutes are going to be very similar to Darwin's. I think Darwin just has that higher ceiling, doesn't he, really? His underlying numbers are off the charts. Should I do Trippier to Robertson and another hit? Thanks. It's all about the rest of your team. I don't really like it because I think Trippier going forward is just such a solid hold. Covers you in game week 28. Good fixtures along the way. Yeah, I would hold personally. Trippier to Arnold for a -4. Again, I don't like the sell of Trippier personally. I think he's going to be a really strong player later down the line. Now, if you have no value built up in Trippier, maybe you bought him a couple of weeks ago, then I don't mind the move then. But if you had him since the start, you need to remember lots of value has been accumulated in Trippier. Therefore, I don't like selling him if you have a lot of value built up in him. So yeah, I don't like it if you have value built up. That's kind of the general consensus for me right now. Just seeing what is happening here, guys. Just make sure there is no team leaks whatsoever. Right. Again, guys, the thing that you are seeing on the screen right now is the algorithm 11 for a free hit team. What I'm going to do is quickly put on the projected points for game week 25, just so you got them on screen. Again, we don't really have to go into too much detail about this because they're on screen. They kind of explain themselves for you. So I'm just going to let you kind of consume what you are seeing on screen right now. And then we can obviously deep dive into some more questions here. The only real notable ones is this. Salah is leaned away by 0.1 point. Just in case you're panicking about the captaincy, there's only 0.1 in it between the two based on our algorithm. And Ketia, the highest scoring forward based on projected points at 9.5. Haaland, second best at 6.3. Darwin at 6.2. But what I would say to you is this. If we knew Darwin was going to play 180 minutes this double, he would be right up there alongside Nketiah as one of the best forwards this week. And Odegaard at 10 projected points. I'm very jealous of those that have Odegaard as well. He could be a brilliant option this game week. And looking at the rest as well, goalkeepers. I don't like goalkeeper transfers, but Alisson is topping the charts for goalkeepers. But let's get back into the comments, guys. Again, you can kind of understand what is on the screen right now, and it will definitely help you out there. Let's have a look. Sorry, guys. Just seeing what the next question is. Is Joe Gomez got option? No. Potential injury risk, and also Matip and Kanate are just going to take minutes off him. Would you take a hit for -8 Mitrovic to Cunha or play with 10? I don't like Cunha as a pick, so I'd probably just do Mitrovic to Watkins if you can afford it, or Darwin. Otherwise, I wouldn't pull the trigger there. Hi, I bought Gomez before his injury. Do you think there's any chance for him to start either of Liverpool's fixtures? If no, can I replace him with Cody to double up? Look, I understand that situation there. I don't really know the extent of Gomez's potential injury, so I don't like buying a player and then selling him in the same game week. I'd almost just make my bed and sleep in it. But if you really just don't like the pick, then yes, I think going to an Everton defender is an easy sideways move for you to go for. But I think that's all about your kind of... I personally, from a pride perspective, would be like, I've brought him in, let's just leave him in the team. But if you're in a situation where you're just like, I need to get rid of him, then an Everton defender is a good alternative, absolutely. And guys, again... let me know who you are captain. I honestly am still debating. I need to probably just give myself 2 minutes here just to like have a little think about who I am captaining, because I understand the decision to go for Salah and I understand the decision to go for Saka, so I don't know why I'm worried about it too much. I just see that Leicester game being an absolute goal fest. Yeah, guys, let me know in the chat what your thoughts are. I apologise. I've got pause a minute while I've just having a little think about who the captain is. I'm not having a meltdown like I usually do, guys. Whoever tunes in usually knows I usually have a meltdown on live, and I have to lie on my bed for about half an hour while my headache goes away. So we haven't got that situation, which is good. The situation we have got is the captaincy, as I said. Now, I've told you guys not to sweat about captaincy, and I'm sat here having a sweat on, and maybe I have to take this jumper off. So, look, let's just think about this. We're going to speak out loud a minute just so we can get some thoughts out in the open. You guys can obviously backtrack what I'm saying. Projected points, there is 0.1 in it. We know, playing FPL for years gone by, we're going to get in a situation where one of these players scores 30 points and the other gets 4. It's just going to happen, isn't it? It is just going to happen. But we need to accept that those sort of things do happen. So, Mo Salah. Why would we go for Mo Salah? Because his underlying stats are better than Saka's since the World Cup. He's on penalties, which cancels out because Saka is on penalties. Liverpool, an unpredictable team, but can post very good numbers from a team perspective. Why do we like Saka? Guaranteed minutes. This guy will play 180 minutes through here. Arsenal, table toppers, going for the title. They're going to be all in on both of these fixtures. Saka, the absolute talisman in that team right now from an actual output perspective. The only issue I have with Arsenal is the points are filtered. I feel like if Liverpool are going to go off this week, I think Salah is going to be the man. So it's really a case of, do I put the captaincy on Mo Salah and think that if Liverpool go big, Salah goes big? The only thing I do think is we could be in a situation where Arsenal go big, but equally Saka doesn't go big. So, guys, I'm sorry. I'm kind of rambling like a madman right now, but I'm just trying to put some thoughts in the open. I'd appreciate if anybody wants to go back and forth in the chat. Let me know what your thoughts are. Ahmed, I see your question about, you skipped my question, mate. Salah, triple captain. Ahmed, I really do apologise missing that question there. You can see in my meltdown right now that I couldn't actually sit here and tell you whether to go for both Saka or Salah. But the triple captain or Salah, I think, is the best week to do it because later down the line, chips are going to be used in other game weeks. So I really do like the triple captain this week. If Salah's your choice, I am right behind it, mate, as your choice for it. What are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? Am I going to stick on Saka? Yes or no? Am I going to stick on Saka? Am I going to stick on Saka? I think I'm going to stick on Saka. I think I'm going to stick on Saka and just hope that we're in a situation where basically, I'm hoping we're in a situation where basically both score good points and nobody gets hurt by it. That's the way I'm viewing it right now. Saka captain is a no-brainer. Captain or Salah for me at the moment. Oh, that doesn't help me, guys. Come on now. That doesn't help me at all. Should I make a -8 to swap Almiron and Botman for Neves and Trent/Robbo? I like the move. Yes, I like the move. I don't like Neves, but I understand why you go Neves to upgrade your defender to a Trent or Robertson. So, yes, McNeil should be another consideration for you if you want to go down that route. We need to understand these players, the Neveses, the Sarabias, the McNeils, we're not getting big points from them, but they're enablers for the other moves in your team. So, look, that's the route I would say is Neves, McNeil, they're just enablers for the big boys in Trent or Robertson. Rico Lewis to Bueno for a hit? No, because you're basically selling a minute's risk for another minute's risk. Can only fit in Trent or Robbo if I take Kane out. Bailey, I like the move. But you need to remember, Liverpool clean sheet-wise, I can't guarantee it. That's the only thing. Ward to Alisson for a -4. I feel like you could do better with your transfers. I don't feel like that's an essential at all. And it blocks you from having triple outfield Liverpool in the future, which would be my problem for you there. Alex saying, should I swap Buendia for Salah, Odegaard or Mahrez? I think if you can get to Salah, that would be my recommendation. Second would be Odegaard. Third would be Mahrez. Simon, -20 done with 1 free transfer. Wait, what? -20 done with 1 free transfer. How does that work? With one, oh, -20, but one of those was a free transfer. Okay, so Salah for Mahrez, Darwin for Mitro. Like it. Simon, hopefully it pays off for you. Hopefully we have a big game week for you here. Let me just sort this out a minute. Okay, we're good. I don't have Salah. Should I triple captain Saka? Jack, if you have your triple captain, I would go for Saka triple captain if I didn't have Salah. Yes, I would. People say, Salah, go big. You're not helping me here. Salah captain this week. If not this week, when? It's a really good point. If I don't go Salah this week, why have I bought him? When else would I captain him? It's so true. It's a really good shout as well. It's a good shout. And why am I panicking so much? It really is. Is it worth me panicking, guys? Is it worth me panicking? Probably not. But I can't decide, guys. Right, First up, announcement. You got 13 minutes until the deadline. So make sure your teams are looking good. You've got the places where if the site was to crash, you've got it all locked in. That's the first and foremost thing. Just make sure those teams are in a good position. Secondly, captaincy. I've got it on Saka, vice captain on Salah. It could change last minute, but right now it is on Saka. I just think that Leicester game could be a goal fest, fingers crossed. Yes. That's how we're looking. Right, let's get back into the question. I'm being selfish. You skipped my question before. Should I do Almiron to McNeil and Mitro to Watkins for a -8? I do like it. The one thing I will say about Watkins is just the caveat about Watkins, and I know I've been recommending him. He's one of those where basically long term he's fantastic, but you're not getting any of those doubles in 27. So the reason why I like Darwin, and the reason why I've gone Darwin, is because I can just go sideways to Ivan Toney in 26 or 27 and get myself on that double game week. With Watkins, you need more money in the bank to then upgrade him to Ivan Toney if you want Toney. Watkins will just be one of those you kind of have to sit and hold long term. If that's your strategy, then I like it. 16-point hit or free hit. I still would play the point hit, but I like the 16-point hit only if you are selling blank players for doublers, then I like it. Is it worth transferring Almiron this week as Newcastle are blank than City? Who would you recommend is so? Depends on the budget available. But as I said, McNeil's come into my team as an enabler to help out with the rest. And I think McNeil is absolutely fine for your team as well if you want to bring him in for the long term, maybe for game week 28. Taking out Keylor Navas for Pickford on a -4 for this week only. Thoughts? I don't love it for like a 1 week punt. I think Keylor Navas could do okay this week, but Pickford with the double, I would anticipate him to score more points than Keylor Navas. Is it worth the -4? It's all about what kind of manager you are. I don't like him for goalkeepers, but look, I understand it. Tom, I see you've got involved with the captaincy, which is, I feel like I need you as a calming influence a minute. Tom, let me know in the chat who you're going for as captain, as that may sway me on who I'm going for captain. I feel like we're all sweating over it, and I've been telling people to not stress, but I've just been stressing so much. Yeah, let me know who you're going for captaincy, mate, as it might help me out too. I feel like the algorithm direction is obviously to go for captaincy on Salah. Like, that's just like the algorithm pick, 100%. I'm just going from like a feel perspective in that Leicester game that it could be an absolute goal fest. So, mate, let me know who you're going for. This could sway me, potentially. No one's considering Haaland captaincy. That's correct. I just think Saka is more likely to return in both games as he's proven this season, but I am an Arsenal fan. Harry, that could be a bit of Arsenal bias talking potentially, but I agree Saka is on flame. So, Tom, you said, I feel Saka can dodge points and Arsenal score a few, with Eddie Eto'o being able to go big. If Liverpool score a few, I feel like it's unlikely Mo wouldn't be involved, and I agree on that one there. Which defenders around 5 million is a good option? I think it's going to be the Everton boys, as I mentioned. I think the likes of Tarkowski are just good enablers for your team. Monty is saying, is it -4 to go from De Bruyne to Salah? And if I take the hit, do I captain Saka or Salah? I like the move, De Bruyne to Salah. As you can tell from me stressing, I honestly don't know who to go for between the two. So this is going to be up to your decision there, because as we discussed, the projected points have them literally on par. I think it just comes down to personal preference on that one there. Tom saying I'm on Mo, but can't begrudge anyone going with Saka. Better team and has had a week off. Another point I haven't even considered is the week off as well. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. What do we do? What do we do? I think I'm going to leave it on Saka. I think I'm going to leave it on Saka and just be done with it. And just hope that maybe Saka just delivers. Like, what is his... His stats are good. His stats are very good. Most stats recently are good as well. Doesn't help the situation. Doesn't help the situation. Salah's record as Palace is worthy of consideration. Good point by Simon there. Luke, Patterson to Tarkowski, Mitro to Nunez. I like it, but just remember, based on Klopp's recent press conference, there is a solid chance that Nunez's minutes will get rotated. Just the front three are going to get rotated, it looks like. Triple captain Salah, I love it. If you are going triple captaincy, I think the week to do it is this week. And again, guys, we have 8 minutes until the deadline, so do lock in your teams if you are getting there. I'm saying Salah, bro. Salah, yeah, I think he is coming into my thought process. Best City defender, you think? I honestly couldn't recommend any because they're going to get rotated 24/7. I would avoid them there. I'm just going to pop my team on, guys. Just a reminder as what I have gone for this week. This is how my team is currently looking. I've taken a -12, and basically this is how I'm rolling the team out. Just the captaincy is the last deliberation for me. I really can't decide where to go with my captaincy. But as I said, I think all of them are fantastic options. And you shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now and sweating over it, because I think both are good picks. I think Salah, as I said, just feels like the route I want to go for from a kind of stats perspective and also from a fixture perspective. Saka's the one you'd want to go for. Deliberations. I think I'm going to leave it on Saka. Kilman or Tarkowski? I prefer Tarkowski in particular for this particular game week that they have got. Best alternative to Tarkowski, then it probably is going to be a Wolves defender if you're looking in the market for that. Cucurella to Tarkowski and take the -4. I do like it, yes. I couldn't really sit here and tell you Cucurella would definitely start or not. But again, I think the big thing is I hate selling a player that is a game for another player for -4. But I couldn't sit here and tell you whether Cucurella starts or not. So maybe just get rid of the headache altogether and get Tarkowski in. Should I sub in Buendia for Lewis from City? Again, I think you're doing a rotation risk for another rotation risk. So I really couldn't sit here and tell you if Lewis is playing or not. If he does, I think he has a solid chance for a clean sheet. So it's all about whether you take that risk or not, basically. Are you triple captain? No, I used mine previously on that awful Haaland week. Took a -12 and brought in Trent, Tarkowski, Zinchenko and Darwin and still have to start one blank. That's fine, Joel. It doesn't matter if you have a one blank at all. Why McNeil instead of Bowen? Because I'm not free hitting and I prefer McNeil as a longer term hold, and he's so much cheaper as well. I needed the funds to be reinvested elsewhere, and because of that very reason, I needed to go for that decision there on McNeil. He was just the better enabler in my team. Guys, Salah or Saka? I'm going to put it on Salah. If I'm not putting the captaincy on Salah now, when am I ever going to put the captaincy on Salah? When am I ever going to put the captaincy on Salah if I'm not doing it now? I think I'm going to change it, guys. I think I'm going to change it to Salah. I think I'm going to change my captaincy to Salah, guys. I think he's going to play both games. Saka. I'm going with Salah. I'm going with Salah captaincy. It's done. It's done. Salah captaincy locked in. I've changed my mind. I'm going with Salah captaincy. If I brought him in for this week, I realistically need to go for him as captaincy. And I think that is justified. I'm just going to put this here a second. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I do apologise. I have changed my captaincy. Captaincy change to... So I'm just putting an update here, guys. I do apologise. Just got to put it on somewhere. Done it. Guys, I've done it. Captaincy on Salah. Let's stop stressing about it now. We're going to answer your questions for the last 4 minutes. Tom, I blame you if Salah doesn't come in. No, I'm joking. Right, let's get into the questions. I just think I've brought in Salah. I've taken this massive -12. I have to put it on somebody like Salah this week. Yeah, it's going to be done. It's got to be done. The stress is real. Stress is real. Damn. Right, sorry guys, let me just check team. Kepa in goal, Tarkowski, White, Trent. Salah with the captaincy, team saved. Andreas, McNeil, Saka with the vice, do not be scoring Saka. Darwin, Nketiah, Haaland. Boy oh boy, if that Leicester-Arsenal game is massive like I think it is, I need to pray that Nketiah is the one that bangs that week and not Saka. I'm done. Let's just leave that at that because I'm just stressing over it for no reason whatsoever. Right, let's get into your questions, guys. Guys, we have 3 minutes until the deadline. Saka owes Everton 1, potentially. Stephen saying he was writing not on screen on the TikTok but not knowing you were streaming. Apologies, Stephen, for that. Yeah, I was trying to obviously get you guys who are on TikTok over to the Fantasy Football Fix channel. Hopefully, welcome obviously the guys who came over on TikTok. I really appreciate it. Make sure you do follow the Fantasy Football Fix channel. We are live every Friday and we drop daily videos. I think it is very underrated YouTube channel, which seems very, very biased, seeming I obviously am part of the Fantasy Football Fix channel. Right, let's just absolutely speed these out for the next 2 minutes. Coleman a good option? Yes, but I prefer Tarkowski. Will be interesting to see if Mitchell is fit for Palace as he will be up against Salah. Simon, I don't want to read that because I've just put it on captaincy on Salah. Do not be stressing me out right now. Pickford or Salah? Pickford would be the choice for me, but worth noting the algorithm has Salah as the choice. Joel, I'm captaining Salah, no longer stressing. FPL really is intense. I've had a breeze in the park, Joel. Not. I have been stressed. Tavid saying, what to do with Darwin after this game week, or when should I get rid of him? Tavid, my current plan is either selling him in 26 or 27 for potentially Ivan Toney, but that we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Luke, Salah or Pickford for Kepa? I'm going to say Pickford because he covers you in game week 28 if you're looking not to free hit then. Best midfielder under 5.3 million for this week only. I'm going to say McNeil because I bought him myself. I always followed on YouTube, just didn't realise you were live here. Stephen, hopefully we can get you for the rest of the season. It'd be awesome to have a new follower on this channel. Julian, Patterson to Dawson for a -4. I don't expect Patterson to play for the foreseeable future. Dawson has a double. I like the move. If you don't want to get yourself invested in Tarkowski once again. Carl, up to 21k after a few decent weeks. Took a -4 to bring in Gakpo. Love it. Finally pays off. Awesome stuff there. Awesome stuff there. As I said, guys, just to confirm, I've just gone for it. I have gone for the captaincy on Salah, and I'm just going to accept what will be. Hopefully, we get some luck along the way. It is worth noting. Right, questions, guys. We have a minute. Hopefully, you've got your teams locked in. I don't think there's much time to answer any questions now. I do apologise for you to then go back and change your team. Just checking my own personal teams. I am a selfish man. And my team is locked in the captains on Salah. Stop stressing, Nacho. Right, last bit. What can we answer? Mahrez plus White to Saka and Dawson for a -8. I'm not huge on that one. FPL Rob on that. I do apologise. Joel, I came from TikTok and follow this account. Keep up the great work. Joel, awesome to see you coming over to the Fantasy Football Fix family. And Carl has just dropped the bomb with deadline done. Guys, give yourself a pat on the back. What a game week this has been. What a game week. I thought, and I spoke to Tom before this live stream, that I'd done my team. The reason I locked in my team is to have a nice, chilled out live stream. And I have sweat patches galore. I have been stressed about that captaincy. So I for one, am delighted to see this deadline pass. Who would have thought that not having Haaland captaincy locked in every single week, I missed it so much. I was complaining about Haaland being a perma captain, but I can see the other side of the stress that captaincy can cause week in, week out. So we're done. We're done, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Will Mahrez start this game week? I think he will. I think Pep didn't play him against Forest. I don't think he's going to do that 2 times. Salah triple captain done. I'm expecting 60 to 70 points. And honestly, I am praying for that here because that is exactly what I would love to see on that one there. Okay, guys, I'm just making sure we're all good. I think we are. Okay, guys. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Harry said I hate it this week, and I'm glad I wasn't tempted to free hitting. I am too, but we'll see how this -12 goes. Right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you again, Cheekster, for moderating the chat. Absolute hero, unsung hero. So thank you once again for getting involved and helping out everybody in the chat when I wasn't answering the questions. So thank you so much. Ahmed, thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate it. Cheekster. Tom, again, thank you so much, buddy. Again, I'll be DMing you later if Salah doesn't deliver. So, again, guys, drop a like on the way out just to show the love. If you're not following already, make sure you do hit the subscribe button on the Fantasy Football Fix channel. We've got so much content coming over the next, I'm going to say 4 months until the end of season, 3 months. So, awesome. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.